Hi, so in this video, I'm going to break down the path of least resistance, and particularly we're talking about the deadlift. We're going to go over two common compensations that I see a lot of in lifters. I'm going to use my first example is going to be my lifter Bryn, and we're just going to start the video. So you can see as she goes into her setup, she's going to lower her hips, right? And she doesn't really do a great hinge here, so she kind of squats down to the bar. Another thing we see here with Bryn in this lift is her grip, where she's going to kind of over grip the bar here. Squat and over grip. Her hands are a little too low and the bar is sitting deep in her hands. What I would tell her to do is kind of focus on the hinge to the bar and lengthening the hands with the slack pull. So this is going to lead to the hips shooting up here, right? And, it's usually going to tilt the lifter forward. We'll see that here as the hips shoot up and then the bar starts to move. So the reason it's important to correct this compensation is because it's inefficient. There's just too many moving parts. So what we're really looking for is one efficient movement where we're going to hinge to the bar, set the hips in the right position, and then wedge into the bar. Before doing so, taking good slack and lengthening the hands, and the bar is going to come off in one efficient movement. Okay. So what we did is we gave her the cues to try to set the hips up a little higher and, to try to take some slack out of the bar. So you see she does a good job here, being very patient and, trying to find the slack pull. A little bit better hinge here, much better, but being very patient here with the slack pull and pushing and then hinging. And, if you watch that again, when the bar breaks the floor, her hips don't really shoot up and the bar pops right off the ground. It is very important to be patient in the sumo deadlift, but this is a pretty efficient pull because her hips aren't shooting up, her body's not tilting forward. So we remedy this with a good hinge, a nice slack pull where the hands are nice and lengthened, and then a better wedge where she's going to set her hip height from the hinge and then just wedge with high hips. So more of a dynamic start than she had in the first video. Equals to a nice clean lift. So the second one I see, I'm going to go with my deadlift from a few years ago, is where the bar is positioned too far over the toes and the lifter will get pitched forward before the bar breaks the floor. And, with heavy loads, we want to try to be as efficient as possible again. So, this isn't a great setup here by me. Let's take a look and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You can see the bar pushes me forward just a bit right there before it breaks the ground. I shoot my hips up. I do my wedge, over wedged, pull behind the bar, and the bar pulls me forward before it breaks the ground. So really the big remedy here for me was just kind of simplifying my setup where I didn't over wedge as much, and I had to make sure that the bar was over midfoot. So in my setup, I set up a little bit closer, and I kind of minimized my my wedge here, and it equals to a more efficient pull where the bar is going to come right off the ground. I'm not going to get pushed forward as much. There you have it. So as a coach, I've seen these two compensations probably more than any other, the hip height one and the bar not being loaded over the midfoot. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM at Nick Level Up on Instagram. Thanks and have a great day.